Good morning. When I walk into the Family Birth Center as a physical therapist slash birth doula, I am not oblivious to the collective eye roll of many of the labor and delivery nurses that are present. I am fully aware that they think that I am somewhat butting into the job that they need to do, which mostly consists of monitoring and pressing buttons and putting in IVs and monitoring and pushing buttons and monitoring and taking this and checking that and all that kind of stuff. But I remind myself that I am also there to do a job, and my job is to be of service and support to the laboring woman, to help her experience the type of labor and delivery that she wants to experience with as little trauma to her pelvic organs and her pelvic floor muscles and her overall psyche, feeling supported and to help that labor move along as best as possible. As a physical therapist, I'm also looking very much at the whole anatomy and physiology of the situation. And it is really hard for me to imagine that in this day and age, there is not a better understanding of the anatomy and what the best birthing positions and the best breathing techniques are in order to best support that pelvic floor. So, coached pushing, which is where they tell you to lay on your back and pull your knees way back and curl your body up and hold your breath and bear down as hard as you can. That's coached pushing. And it may decrease the length of time of the pushing phase of childbirth. However, it is important to note that that increased pressure on your pelvic floor and the increased speed in which that baby is expelled out the pelvic outlet and the pelvic floor muscles, while the muscles are stretched to their extreme, is what is going to create the most amount of damage to the pelvic floor. So that poor woman, maybe 20, 30 years down the line, if not immediately, is going to be at higher risk of pelvic organ prolapse, tears from the birth, urinary incontinence, bowel and bladder problems, sexual problems. So I remind myself all the time that my job is to help this birth as best I can to not only have the best outcomes at that moment, but also later in that person's life. And I remind myself that over and over again. I will never stop doing what I'm doing to support those mamas.